Hey, this is Drew Page. Welcome to the Drew Page channel. In this video, I am going to respond to Meet Kevin calling me scum yesterday. I did not have on my bingo card that Meet Kevin, with almost 2 million YouTube subscribers, would retweet one of my replies to one of his tweets and just come after me saying that I'm scum, that I didn't do due diligence, and that I don't know what I'm talking about. But so we're going to walk through exactly what happened yesterday, what happened leading up to that, and then I'm going to show you where you can find the due diligence, so you know I'm not just a hater, I'm not just blowing smoke. I'm actually a pretty big fan of Kevin. I've been following him for a long time, been watching his videos, and still watch his videos. This is not personal. I have not called him a single name. I haven't called him scum. I haven't called him anything. All I have done is talked about his actions and given constructive criticism. I have done absolutely nothing personal toward him. I have not done anything to slam him, to hate him, and I'm not going to do any of that today. All I'm going to present are the facts. When you argue ad hominem, when you start to attack the person rather than the arguments, that's a sign of weakness, not a sign of strength. I'm going to give you the facts without regard to personal attacks. I don't need that. If he wants to do that toward me, that's fine. Have no problem with it. Bring on the hate. I love it. But I'm not going to return the favor. So you say what you want. All I'm going to do is present the facts. So yesterday, Meet Kevin sent out a tweet, and it said this. He says, in January, I turned bearish, and I received a world of vile hate. I was right to turn bearish, though, and let everyone know. Between May and July, I went all in, and I'm quite bullish. Now I'm receiving a world of vile hate for being bullish. I hope to be right again, though. Again, this is not about whether Meet Kevin was right or whether he was wrong. And I mentioned that in the video I did when he made his change. It's called Lawyer Exposes Meet Kevin. And I'll have a link down at the bottom. Watch the whole video. I know it's 45 minutes long. Watch it on 2x. I'm a very slow talker anyway. So watch it on 2x or 1.75, whatever. But watch the whole video. And if you watch the whole video, I guarantee you, you will not find any evidence that I am a hater toward Meet Kevin. But what I do point out is that this has nothing to do with why he is getting pushback from his audience. It has nothing to do with the fact that he was bearish. It has to do with the fact of how he became bearish and how on January the 20th, he says that he's a buy the dipper, he's all in. He actually spent $1.5 million buying a firm, and then the very next day he sells everything without telling his YouTube audience. I call him out on that. And in fact, when he did an I'm sorry video on YouTube a few days ago, the fourth point that he says he was sorry for was being so abrupt with his audience in being a buy the dipper one day and then the very next day selling everything and just being abrupt about it. And on that video, I actually commented on that video, and I said, look, I appreciate the apology. I think you could have done without the I'm right stuff and, you know, you're so great and all that, but I'll accept the apology. As long as you never bring this up again, I won't bring it up again. And here he is bringing it up again. I don't know if he just can't help himself or whatever it is, but he brings it up again. And so because he brought it up again, I reply with the exact thing that I said I was going to reply with. I say, I told you I would say nothing unless you brought it up again. Since you brought it up, you did not get hate for turning bearish. You got hate for saying you were bullish, then dumping your stock, then telling everyone after a full weekend so people were left holding the bag. Now, he took that reply tweet yesterday and retweeted it. And when he retweeted it, he says this. This is the scum I have to deal with. That's what he says. He's calling me scum. Let's be crystal clear. I sold at 9 a.m. on 121. I actually didn't know that. I didn't know what time he sold, and he had a morning live stream and an evening live stream opportunity there. But I didn't even know what time he sold, so that's really interesting. So he sold at 9 a.m., and I'm going to get through a full timeline before the end of this video, so stick to the end. He says in the second box, I fielded Q&A for an hour with course members at 11 a.m. Now again, that's great. If you're a course member, that's fantastic. But if you're a viewer on YouTube that has been part of his audience, that has followed him for years, and you listen to his financial information, and you've just heard that he's still in on the market, he's buying in the market, if you're not on the course member, you're out. So what difference does that make to the YouTube audience that helped him get to where he is? Has nothing to do with it. But he may be right. I'm not on the course member live stream, so he may be telling the truth there. I have no reason to believe that he's not. He then says, I tweeted sell at 2 p.m. And he may have sent the tweet at 2 p.m., but that might be 2 p.m. Pacific time, because it shows on my phone and on my computer that it's 5:09 p.m., which means that it would be 2:09 p.m. his time, which is still after the market closes. So it's not very beneficial that he would send that after market close. But if I'm wrong about the timestamp, that's perfectly fine. I'll respect that. And it only says sell, so nobody knows what he's talking about. So he says he tweeted out sell at 2 p.m. Again, I've got the tweet showing that it was at 5:09 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which again will be after the market close. But whatever, we'll give him that. He did tweet sell, even though he didn't explain what that meant. Then he says, I spent 12 hours making an explanatory video I posted ASAP. Okay, you spent 12 hours making a video where you could have just said, I'm selling during one of the live streams, but I'm going to do a more full explanation as to why I'm selling after yesterday having just said I put $1.5 million into the market. But instead, he's working on this video, he says, and says he's going to give this fuller explanation. Okay? Again, he can do whatever he wants, but don't be mad and call your audience haters for calling you out on not being transparent with your YouTube audience. We have followed you for a long time, and we have promoted you, and we have commented, we have helped you be able to get your numbers up. Your YouTube audience is why you're able to make so much money on your courses, because it makes you an authority. Being able, the reason you get calls on being able to go on news channels and all that is because you're an authority on YouTube. And your audience is what helped you get there. So don't disrespect your audience and say, oh, well, too bad, so sad, you need to grow up, whatever. No, you were disingenuous with your audience. I mean, that's just a fact. It's great you told your course members. It's great you sent out a tweet sell after market close. Fantastic. But to make that kind of shift without telling your audience, who has been loyal to you for a long period of time, and not tell them what you're doing after having just put $1.5 million in the market the day before, and you wonder why people are upset. They're not hating on you for trade. There may be some crazies out there that hate you because you dump your money, but it's your money. I don't care. You can do whatever you want to with your money. It has no bearing on my life. I don't make any decisions. People have been talking about, I'm going to pour one out for you and all this other foolish stuff. I didn't lose any money because of you. I didn't lose any money because of your trades. I don't do that. That doesn't bother me at all. What bothers me is that you insult your audience's intelligence by acting like they couldn't have handled you saying you were going to sell everything on that Friday and then posting some cryptic tweet saying sell without any further explanation after you already knew that morning at 9 o'clock, which I just found out today, you'd already sold. And you had all day. You had all day. You could have told them. So, let's talk about my due diligence, because that's the next thing he gets on with the retweet. I'm not even going to repeat the last comment he says on this tweet, because again, it's not personal for me, it's just facts. So let's look at the facts. His next retweet says, here's the bag this Drew guy is talking about, by the way. Drew, in parentheses, apparently an attorney, did great due diligence here, facepalm. Okay, great. Again, attack the person instead of the argument. Ad hominem, it's great. He shows the picture of this chart. And again, it's not about the numbers. That you're missing the whole point. And if you were watching these videos as they were happening, and you see that Kevin dumps it, and then within a matter of days, he starts getting back into the market. I mean, it's just different. You are left with the impression that you are holding the bag. Now, since that time, obviously looking back in hindsight, Kevin was right. And people need to acknowledge that. I've acknowledged that. And in the video I did, I even said I hope he was right and that I hope he makes a lot of money. It doesn't help me for him to be hurt. It doesn't help me if he loses money. What do I benefit from that? I could care less. I'm amazed at the financial things that he's been able to do and see. But the market tanked, and he knew it was going to tank to the point that he dropped everything after the day before putting a 1.5 million in without telling his audience. And then his audience was left like, whoa, what's going on? We've been following you. You've been a buy the dipper your entire career, and now all of a sudden you're a trader, and you're telling us that we're wrong for being confused and calling you out on saying I'm not effing leaving, and then you leave. I mean, that's a problem. That's a problem. So yeah, the chart shows that if we would have not listened to him and just waited even further, yeah, we would have benefited. So that's great, but that's beside the point. The point isn't what the numbers were or what they weren't or what the charts say and all that. The issue is your genuineness with your YouTube audience. That's what this is about. His last tweet about me says, P.S. This is why people on YouTube say, quote, buy and hold. They don't want to be accountable for potentially making a mistake. At least I'm making a choice and being transparent about it. Well, that's kind of the issue. You weren't transparent with your YouTube audience about it. You weren't. And you still haven't admitted that when you said I'm not effing leaving in the Bill Ackman video, that you meant you were not leaving the market. And then later you said, well, it meant that I'm not leaving YouTube. And that's the most ridiculous thing. I mean, come on, that's ridiculous. You know that's not what you meant. You said you're bullish on this market, you're not going anywhere, you're not effing leaving. You didn't say anything about YouTube. And it wasn't until you knew you were going to make that shift that you started saying, well, if people go on vacation and all that, they're weak, but I'm not going anywhere, I'm not leaving. You made that change. You made the change from the Bill Ackman video. Just be honest about it and admit that you were not open and transparent on that issue with your YouTube audience. You're not. Then he says, yet Drew forgets I owe you no disclosure. I was clear as soon as possible and didn't need to be. I did not forget that at all. Again, if you watch my video that I did in February, I explicitly say that he owes us no obligation. He owes no obligation for disclosure. But if you're going to be a person on YouTube who's given financial information, given education to the point that you've got over 1 million followers, 1 million subscribers, and you know people are relying on what you have to say, then don't be upset when they want you to have more disclosure. If your stuff isn't something to be relied upon, then why make it? Don't make it. Stop making videos. Stop making them all together, because there's no point to it, right? Nobody's supposed to follow it. Nobody's supposed to listen to it. So just stop making the videos. I mean, come on. That's naive. That's naive. So yeah. If you're going to make those videos and you're going to disclose your positions, but then you're going to hold back on a position, yeah, you're right. You don't owe any obligation, and I said that from the very beginning. But you have no right to push off your audience as haters when they call you out on the fact that you have disclosed your net worth, you have done all these other disclosures, you disclosed that you put $1.5 million in the market the day before, and yet you held back on this one thing without giving any reason why you held back on that. So yeah, you're right. I did not forget that. I never said you had to disclose anything. I'm saying that don't be mad at your audience for calling you out on it. That's all I said. Well, anyway, because of all the attention, I actually got the highest impressions on Twitter I've ever gotten. I mean, I've only got currently 113 followers. So, and whether I have 113 or 113,000 really doesn't make any difference to me. But, you know, hey, maybe this will get some more. Who knows? It doesn't make any difference to me. Since Kevin says that I wasn't using due diligence, let's walk through the Meet Kevin timeline. So on 1/18/2022, that's when we have the Bill Ackman video where he says, I'm not effing leaving. His videos are still up. You can check them out. If for any reason they're taken down, you can find them on the video that I did in the link below back in February. January 20th. 2022, the morning live stream, he says that I put $1.5 million into the market. And it's the SoFi video. So he's dropped 1.5 million. Now for him, that's maybe not as much as the rest of us, but for those of us who watch it that don't have $40 million in our portfolio, $1.5 million is a lot of money and shows some pretty strong conviction. 1/20/22, the evening live stream, he says that he's building out a position in a firm, and that video is still up as well. Then the last video of January 20, 2022 is when he talks about Netflix, and he really goes into detail about the problem, but he says, I'm still a buyer. I'm still buying. I'm still a buyer. That's what he says. Then the next morning, on January 21st, is the video when he put out the Titanic video that he made about hodlers holding on. Then according to his tweet that he sent out against me yesterday, he says that he sold everything at 9 a.m. that morning. So either during this live stream or sometime after the live stream, he sold out of everything. So he knew that morning that he was done, that he was selling out, and didn't say anything about it during the market. Now he says again that the tweet that he sent said sell was at 2 p.m. It shows on the timestamp I have as 5:09 p.m., which my time in Virginia is Eastern Standard Time. His is Pacific Time. So if he sent it at 2 p.m. Pacific Time, then that would still be after market. So he did not give any indication to his YouTube followers who helped him build up the channel that he has until after market close. Those are the facts. That's the due diligence. So don't come at me and say that I'm not showing due diligence as an attorney. My video that I did back in February lays all of this out in a very respectful manner, and it does not criticize him as a person. It criticizes his decision as a YouTube content creator. And that's all this video does as well. I have not said one negative thing about him personally. I have not attacked him or his family, and I'm not going to. He can attack me all he wants, and I will still show respect, because he is a multimillionaire who has done a great job, taking care of himself, his family, and he's learned things and done things that have taught me and helped me. But don't come at me and act like I don't know what I'm talking about. I know what I'm talking about. You are not straight with your YouTube audience. Period, end of story. Your white knights can come and say whatever they want, can come on my Twitter feed and attack me. That's perfectly fine. It's great. Bring them on. But at the end of the day, I'm right, and these are the facts. You can't run from them. You can ad hominem attack me, but you can't attack the facts. There's the timeline. Check out my videos. See if I'm lying. See if I'm wrong. But I'm not. All right. Hope this video was helpful. Please subscribe to the channel, like the video, hit the notification bell, and until next time, stay tuned.